How many of us are just going through life on autopilot? And are more of us doing it more frequently? My guess here would be yes. And I think what it is our lives are getting so busy and so many more things are being added to it. And you feel like you have to live up to all these expectations and be a good person, a good parent, good employee, good spouse, good friend. And all these things just take a little bit of time. So you're cutting a little bit of corners to try to make things happen. And according to this recent study that was done, a whole bunch of scientists from pretty much all over the world, the U.S., Australia, United Kingdom, they were tracking people for a week, and they found that 88% of daily behaviors happen automatically without conscious thought. 88% of them.
Wow.
And I do think about a lot of the stuff that I do. My life is very regimented, and it's for that reason that I just can't freelance a day. I don't have that kind of time. I can't be like, let me just kind of meander through this and try to figure it out. No, you got to, what am I going to wear? What am I going to drink? What am I going to this? You know, you have to have an automatic response, and it's got to be right there. If not, it's just not going to happen.
But you still can be busy in life and still, go full gorilla in your career or your relationship and still be on autopilot. It can happen even when life's going on. I think it hits everybody.
I think so, too. I think it's happening more often just because I think that more and more we're being overwhelmed. And then what free time we used to have to sit there with our thoughts and kind of process through things, we're probably filling with social media or something that we're doing online that is now readily available on our phone. That is right there.
To me, when you say on automatic, it almost feels like you're a bit numb. And I just know for me personally, if I feel like I'm on automatic, I feel I get depression, I get anxiety, and having a purpose and trying to understand that does help. But staying in that autopilot mode for too long can lead to those kind of issues, I think.
I think that if you don't have a little bit of surprise and wonder and fun and sparkle that you add to every day, it's just, what are we doing? Why are we even here just to be robots, mundane, going through the motions? Like, no.
Yeah, I think that's why we are starting to see a rise in mental health issues. There's a lot of things that play into it. I don't think there's one thing you put your finger on and that's it, but it is just a perfect storm of all these things coming together. And it is our lives. It's the technology that's there. It's the social media. It's all these kind of things all wrapped up into one that are doing that. And you're right. If it's the same thing every single day, you kind of just get lost in the rat race. You feel like you're a rat on a wheel and you're just running in circles and nothing ever changes. It's the same way. And so it almost feels like in America or just globally, we need a great purge where you kind of go through your life and you say, you know what, do I need that? That's taking time for me. Oftentimes we look at maybe our closet or things that we've been accumulating, but we don't really look at our to-do lists or tasks or what we do on a daily basis. Say, I'm spending 5 minutes a day doing that. It shouldn't seem like a lot, but that's still 5 minutes. Let me get rid of that and stop doing that. I'm spending 15 minutes doing that. Let me stop doing that. There alone, you've just added 20 minutes to your day to just kind of sit and reflect and think. And
take a walk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at nature.
Right.
Be out and breathe some real air.
Because I will say, if you're not careful, being on autopilot can really add up time. And all of a sudden, it's a year and a half later going, wait a minute, am I even enjoying anything? Am I living in the now? Am I making sure I'm excited about stuff? Or am I just going through the motions, making sure I got the money on the, bringing the money home, doing my job? You do have to work a little extra hard, and some people have to work even extra harder for that.
Yeah, no, it is true. And I think what happens too is you look back on your life and 20 years have gone. You're like, where did the time go? What happened? Because you're kind of moving forward. They even found that with the way the brain works. If you're not adding little surprises or kind of breaking up the monotony.
A little fascination, a little sparkle.
Yep. That's the way your mind works. Your time will fly by and you will look back on your life and be like, where did it all go?
What did I do?
You weren't breaking it up by doing trips or doing things that were out of your routine. When you get too routine, your life will just fly by and you are just surviving. You're not really thriving.
And it will lead to some sadness. I really believe that. I think you got to be kind of aware of that and almost see little signs going, wait a minute, am I just am I just going through this thing or am I enjoying this thing?
Amen.
Yeah.
Am I surviving it? Am I killing time? That's the thing that scares me most. Like, I don't ever want to be like, oh, gotta kill this time. No.
Everyone needs something to look forward to. I think that's a big, big thing. And that I also think can interrupt autopilot behavior.
I think everybody should look for 10 to 20 minutes every day that is free from anything. And just don't say like, oh, I get 10 minutes free to now go through social media. Don't do that. Take 10 to 20 minutes just to sit or take a walk or do something to clear your mind. It's going to be a lot healthier for you. Make sure you're putting a lot of nice little surprises, things you look forward to into your life, and do things to break up the monotony. I do understand that sometimes being on autopilot or having behaviors automatically happen without conscious thought is kind of a necessity. It's a survival tactic for you to get everything done you need to do, but you got to find a way to purge and kind of break out of that.
Yeah, no, you're right, because I think you're going to always have to, there's some things in life you'll be an autopilot for, but I just think when it starts to affect your mental health and your thought process and
It
just
does.
how you feel, I think that's when you got to say, all right, let's go outside and look at a buffalo scamper by or something.
When your brain is always captured and captivated.
Because there's so many Florida buffalo.
Hey, look at that. There's a buffalo right there on.
I was going to say, watch it on YouTube, but Kevin said just get off the screen.
You got to get off the screen.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't
Close
do
the
that.
screen.
Yeah, don't do that. But they say to that point is that we are kind of rewiring our brains when it's always captured into social media or things like that. And they've noticed now that 65% of our behaviors were triggered automatically by environmental cues. One of them is, for instance, a lot of these are trained by your phone. They said one example was people reaching for a phone after a notification. Their phone vibrates and they grab their phone immediately and they were observed like, okay, wow. They do that very frequently. And it's just that you're trained. It's not even a conscious thought. It's just a reaction that you have. How often, like for me, if you keep your phone in your pocket, am I looking down that phantom ring or buzz and it didn't even ring or buzz? You're just conditioned to wait for something and you jump and react to it immediately as soon as your pants
All
start
of
vibrating.
us. Anybody who keeps their phone on them.
Yeah. So they say that you need to just try to start making more deliberate decisions in your life. It is understandable that you have to be somewhat on autopilot, but don't be too monotonous. So
Yeah, and I think it's also important just to constantly remind yourself to live in the now. As easy as that sounds, it's the hardest thing a human can do is staying in the moment, and it does take work. You can lose it at any point.
You're right.
If you're thinking about the past, you're probably depressed about something, overthinking, and if you're worried about the future, you're probably getting some anxiety.
Jay Woe said, my autopilot is turned on the KVJ show in the morning. So am I supposed to not do that? No,
No.
we're not saying that at all. No,
That's not
you said there's a
autopilot.
few things. Yes.
That's not autopilot.
That's not autopilot. We're giving you fascination and sparkle.
That's it. It's odd little things, too. They talk about how many choices we make in a day. They said about 50 on average is what you're making. That adds up to 1.5 million choices in a lifetime, doing the math for you.
I'm trying to figure out, are we doing breakfast today or not? I mean, that's a choice, and you have to figure out what you're ordering. Another choice.
Well, are you paying or not? Because if you're paying, I'm in.
I'm paying.
All right.
And they say just some everyday decisions that you make is overwhelming people. In fact, a quarter of people, 25%, 1 out of 4 get overwhelmed at the grocery store.
I get overwhelmed at the grocery store.
I really believe it's the Cheesecake Factory, and I love Cheesecake Factory. Do not get me wrong. I think our mind can only take so much information at one time.
Especially if I'm hungry and then I go grocery shopping, I get overwhelmed and I buy too much and then the food goes bad before I can eat it. It's awful.
They've done studies on convenience stores where some convenience stores, they have too many items to where they're not selling anything. It's overwhelming.
Breaks your brain.
It does.
They actually have a name for it. They call it aisle anxiety.
Yeah.
They said 1/3 of all shoppers have aisle anxiety where they just walk into an aisle like, it's too much.
Something that helps me with that. Before you even step a pretty foot into the store, make a list of what you want to get, plan out a couple meals, and only get those things. Then you won't get so overwhelmed. When I walk in there with no list, I'm like,
well, that's fine. I do like Five Guys burgers because you walk in there and there's only so many options you have. You're like, all right, it's not, I don't have to overthink this thing. All right, 4 double cheeseburgers.
They said shoppers spent on average 4 minutes deliberating each item, and 32% of those people take longer than 4 minutes.
Whoa.
Oh, if it's a Saturday morning, we got no events, and I am at the store, I am taking my time, and I will look at every cereal box they have.
She marinates.
But I enjoy it, so I don't think it's a time waster.
If it's pleasurable, that's good.
Yes.
If you get anxiety and overwhelmed, then it's bad.
That's true. So, are you on autopilot? Are the decisions in your life overwhelming you? If they are, you're not alone.